Hey nerds, was just out the seat.
Oh my god, I'm like a blur.
We
Hi,
just
I'm
saw
here
Carol.
too.
Oh, sorry, I'm not sure if she introduced herself in the first video, but this is Cynthia, my fiance. We just saw Carol, and I cried several times.
He did. It was embarrassing.
I mean, if the word chick flick scares you, don't see this movie. But I don't really like that as a label for a genre in general. I personally don't like the term chick flick, but it was a relationship movie. It was also a queer film.
It is probably one of the better lesbian films you're gonna have a chance to see, because
Especially in like major theaters.
it doesn't really focus in on the fact that it's about two girls. It focuses in on all the problems around that.
Yeah, a very
Without
basic
being-
relationship is basically like almost life and death.
Without being political.
Well, I mean, I guess it kind of is political, but in a different way. I don't know.
My deck out for a sec.
For sure. I mean, like, in general, I really like the cinematography, the attention to detail. The set design will probably win some awards for sure. It's a period piece set in, I guess that was like the 40s? What would you say? I mean, there's like black and white TVs
It also
and
felt
fedoras.
like an indie flick.
Oh, it was
Very
done by the
important.
Weinstein Company, and I believe they're a subsidiary of another company, so they're like the indie branch of a film company. They make a lot of good indie films.
It looks like a film if you got some friends together, like maybe not some friends, maybe like a college dormitory, and you just got together, paid people with cheesecake and whatnot. You could totally remake this film.
No, you couldn't.
Yes.
No, the set design alone was like huge, and they had a lot of extras. And I will say they only had like 6 or 7 actors with lines, sure, but it took a lot of money and effort to make this film, especially to make it look on point. Even just the costumes were just like just hitting it, like, and they even had room to do costume design, like all the characters, like how they are, and like their emotions in the moment are all kind of. Well, I'm talking to you and I'm talking to them.
Yeah, I know, but like.
But I'm
yeah.
responding to you. Okay, I know. I have a stegosaurus for a head. I get it. Like their clothes reflected, their personalities and how they felt in certain scenes. It progressed really well. It seemed linear at one moment, but then you realize, oh, we actually jump back in time at one point. But it doesn't take you out of the film.
No, it's the moment you see it, it totally feels like a flashback. Like the entire thing, and like at a certain point you forget it's a flashback.
Yeah, you just kind of fall into it. There's actually the first scene I started crying in. I don't know if you noticed, but there was like there's this one scene that's just so amazing, and it made me cry because it was like the perfect way to adapt a moment in film. It was like memory. It was like having a really good memory, or when a memory is being made, and it's just beautiful, and like you'll never forget this moment. And it's just one of the most beautifully composed montages I've seen in my entire life.
However, on that note of like beauty and montages and things you'll never forget, this probably isn't the best thing to take your teenage daughter or teenage son to see, because there is
Unless you're very liberal and open with the idea of them seeing
boobs.
lots of
There's not a
boobs.
lot of boobs. He's lying.
Yeah.
There's
It's
boobs
not
things.
as it's
Duck out for another second.
there is nudity. There's a lot of cigarette smoking. Actually, I wanted to mention, like, as a filmmaker, actually really made me happy, this film, because like if I was still in college, this will be a film that I feel like will be perfect to be taught in a college level class. They have this thing, and there's a lot of women in the film where people smoke cigarettes, and of course it happens back in the day. And maybe I'm even going not far enough back by saying I think it takes place in the 50s or 40s. It might even just take place in the roaring 20s. But the point is, cigarettes are a phallic object, and noticing who's smoking cigarettes and when in this film is really important. Also noticing when someone's in the golden section. If you don't know what the golden section is, I'll leave a link in the description. But it'll also give you a lot of foreshadowing for the film. And although I will say the film isn't really hard to predict. If you can enjoy the moments the characters are having, and if you can like the characters, if you can feel invested, then this movie will definitely take you on a ride, a very, very emotional ride. And I realize it's a film that a lot of people might see and they just might be like, oh, I'm so bored, I fell asleep. And you know, this is like high art.
If you fall asleep during this film, it means you don't like romantic anything, you know, and it's fine. You don't have to like romance. Don't see this movie then. I mean, that is the selling point of this movie. Not
Yeah,
that
but I think
nothing else.
I think it's shot really wonderfully too.
Okay, and if you're a film nut, you can also see
Yes,
it.
if you're a cinephile, I
Yes.
highly recommend it.
Beautiful, wonderful. I'm not. I could care less. But it's
See, that's why I need you in these
it's
videos
not
more. You balance me out.
painfully romantic, which is the important part. It's a film I could actually want to watch again.
Maybe it's just
without
painfully
being like,
romantic in the way you like. Didn't you think of that possibility?
No, I like good movies, unlike some people.
Merry Christmas, nerds.
Merry Christmas.
We got one more movie.
Peace out.